So I wanted to do this new series, Quinn K, Deeper and Darker, just to delve into a little more, maybe some of the deeper things that I've felt over the years and experiences I've had, and maybe even be a little controversial. And I've been unsure where to start, but I'm going to start by telling this one little story. So the 2016 election took place, and of course it was a very controversial election, and I don't want to get too deep into that. I really don't have much opinion on American politics. I'm a Canadian, so it doesn't matter that much to me. But I was driving Uber at the time, and I was driving it largely full time and looking for work on the side, and kind of not totally sure what my career was going to do. Things were kind of tight in where I was living, and I picked up a girl for a ride, and I'd given her a ride once before. She was going to the University of Alberta, and so she was a PhD political science student. She'd told me this in our previous conversation. So with the election having just taken place, and Trump having surprised everyone and won the election, I thought just, I don't know, maybe part of me was being a little gritty or whatever. I just asked her for an opinion. I said, so you're a poli-sci major, why did Trump win the election, right? Can you offer me any insight? And I'd really kind of hoped that maybe, being a PhD student, she might offer something that I hadn't heard up to that point. I mean, I'd heard the same thing that everyone else. I don't even want to get into it, because of the political nature. And she wasn't able to tell me anything I hadn't heard, and I was kind of disappointed. She was just parroting a bunch of crap that I'd been hearing already, and I kind of thought, so my opinion on all of this, and this is maybe where I get a little controversial or whatever, is in that election I've seen what I've seen many times in elections in the US and in Canada and wherever. The thing that happens is the incumbent, or the person most closely related to the incumbent, in this case, Hillary Clinton was not the incumbent, but she was most closely related to Barack Obama. She had the more difficult task in her messaging. And it showed, I thought, in that election really well, where on one hand, she had to say, everything is great and I'm going to keep it going great, right? Because that's what, the incumbent, she needs to be able to say that to get those supporters again, right? But at the same time, she had to say everything's horrible and I'm going to make it better, right? And those become very difficult to balance, that type of dual contrary message. And I think that was probably, in my opinion, that was what I saw, that I found made her unbelievable to me, right? Whereas in that very same election, Trump wasn't encumbered by the same thing. He only had to have one message, and that was everything is crap and I can fix it, right? So that simplified everything for him. But like I said, this PhD student, she couldn't, as much as she was poli-sci, and it made me think, I always thought PhD was, a big deal, that, there are people who had to bring a science to a level that it had never been before or something like that, right? Maybe I'm, disillusioned or whatever. And I was really disappointed that this girl who I was taking to the university in my Uber really wasn't able to display any of that. So it got me thinking, poli-sci in general, I don't know what to say about it, except to say that, I believe that if you want to make a difference in this world, if you want to do something that's really going to benefit the world in general in a real way, you probably wouldn't become a poli-sci student. You probably wouldn't learn poli-sci. In my opinion, if you want to benefit the world, learn a trade. Become an electrician or a plumber or a machinist or a millwright or a welder or a sheet metal worker. Someone who actually does something that helps people, right? Because from what I've ever seen in this world, political scientists, all they really do is create problems.